up, everybody? Coming at you from, where are we at? South Carolina.
An apartment somewhere.
In the Aether. South Carolina. Best Carolina. Kevin, how you doing, man?
Good. How you doing, Will?
Super.
Great.
We are the lamest people ever.
A little.
That's all right. Are you
Don't
okay
tell
with
them
it?
that.
Oh, right. We are the coolest people ever. We are also magic experts and are 100% certified and verified in every aspect
We
of the
are. If you didn't know that you could be certified, that's because only we can be certified. So
sorry about that.
That's not really how that goes. So
none of that you just heard is true. Like we said, I'm Will.
I'm Kevin.
This is It Resolves. Kevin, what are we doing today?
We're going to start off with our card of the day, as always.
I love the card of the day.
It is pretty fun. We get some really oddball cards, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Then we're going to talk a little bit about Standard. We had some very cool events this past weekend.
Sort of. Well, they were limited.
They were limited events, but they were very fun.
They were fun. I watched most of one of them.
Okay. So you're going to be telling us about all that.
Why not?
Then we're going to be talking about a little intro deck section for the new Amonkhet intro decks.
Cool. Yeah.
We thought we'd do a little game test, play test, sort of see what we thought about the intro decks and see how they balanced out and everything. Got a few packs to open. At the very end, we have our Crack-a-Pack. So other than that, I think that's it for today's episode. It should be a good one.
Yeah. Kind of short, sweet, but just fun stuff that we did.
Absolutely. So
Sweet.
Start off with the card of the day.
Jeez.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's see what we get. Spark Trooper. Oh, this is a cool card.
This is one of my favorite cards ever.
This is a very good one. Why don't you tell us about it? Go
Sure.
ahead.
So Spark Trooper is a 6/1 for 4, 1 colorless, 2 red, 1 white. Trample, lifelink, and haste. It says at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice Spark Trooper. So a lot of these elementals with something in haste or just haste exist in the game. You get Spark Trooper, Lightning Ball is another one.
Ball Lightning is also.
Is that the one I'm thinking of?
That's the one you're thinking of.
Well, this is It Resolves, where we rename cards.
Where we're right even when we're wrong.
It works if you wanted to. So, yeah, Spark Trooper. He's loads of fun.
Limited bomb, right? Like off the
yeah.
bat, this is amazing.
Definitely.
And limited for sure.
So yes, well it says you gotta sack them at the end of your turn.
You don't really care.
No, for 4, you're gonna get in for at least something unless they block with a bunch of stuff. 6, you gain 6 life, and then that's kind of it.
Yeah.
If the only thing you wanted to do this turn is just play Spark Trooper into like a few, I don't know, 1/1s or some engine that's
some
getting
mana
stuff.
dorks
Yeah,
or something.
whatever it is, like sweet.
Yeah.
Like, what are they gonna do? They block them all to mitigate damage, and then they lose their board, or they just take 5, you gain 6,
Yep.
and you leave up whatever's left on your board. Like he's fun. He's great in a Boros aggro.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Definitely. He's very cool. I really like this card. I didn't have the opportunity to play him in Limited when Gatecrash was spoiled and came out and all that stuff.
Really fun set.
I did have a friend that played this in his sort of casual deck.
Okay.
And he actually won a game out of nowhere because of a card because of this card specifically. But cards like this really can win you a game out of anywhere. And that's 6 damage, man. That's a lot.
It is, you know.
For 4 mana, 6 damage with lifelink is just fantastic.
Yeah.
So, cool card. By a long way, our best card so far.
I think so. Our first rare too.
Yeah, definitely. Our first rare. So, a very cool card of the day. I like this one.
Fun.
So, I think we'll just jump right in to our tournament coverage, so to speak, of the latest and greatest in tournaments.
Absolutely. So, the tournaments that happened this weekend, there were 3, if I am not mistaken. There was GP Richmond, which is the one that was covered. It's the one I'm looking at. GP Beijing and GP Other GP.
I love the Other GP.
Yeah, the Other GP was a great GP.
Yeah.
I don't remember Other GP. I am sorry, everyone who played at Other GP, who feels in some way
wronged by you.
But yeah, it was super fun. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, it was a really interesting drafting session, watching players kind of pick other things over other things and why that is. And the matches themselves obviously were great. It came down to Eli Casillas and Michael Baranecki. Baranecki had a black-red kind of aggro. Casillas had a white-blue Flyers pseudo-control. In limited, control doesn't ever really get to work, you could say. But it used things like Avon Wind Guide, Fan Bear to kind of control the opponent's board and just swing over with flyers like Gus Walker and Angler Drake, stuff like that. But it was super fun, so I wanted to talk about those two decks in particular. The last match was really cool. Probably disheartening for Casillas. He did get 2-0'd. He was a great player, though. He stayed in the first game a long time more than I thought he would. And then Baranecki had to fling to win.
Fling, as you know by now, is one of our favorite cards.
Oh yeah,
I think collectively, and
it's excellent.
It's won us a few games for sure.
Yeah, like 5 maybe.
Yeah. When we if you missed the episode or if you want to go back and check it out, it's on YouTube. Yeah. But we drafted a mono red Amonkhet deck.
We did,
and it ran 3 fling, I believe.
Yes, 3 fling.
And there were multiple games where we just used fling and won out of nowhere.
I'll also say this tournament was the one where I learned that limited does not follow the 4-card restriction rule for a deck.
You did not know that.
I did not know that.
No,
I was unaware, and I am the guy who plays limited.
Yeah, I was gonna say
more than Kev.
That's true.
Yeah, but no, I had no idea. Sometimes if I wanted something a lot and I saw 4 of it, I grab 4 and stop. No, you can run 5 things, and now
you can run as many as you'd like.
Yeah, as many as you see, really.
Yeah,
if you take it. But yeah, so Casillas, the white-blue Flyers deck, I'll talk on just a little bit. It was pretty simple to see that he wanted to value Flyers over other creatures in these colors. He did get Sacred Cat, which made its way into every match he played, just about. Fan Bear, obviously, which is not a Flyer. Gus Walker, not technically a Flyer. Vizier of Deferment, not technically a Flyer, although those play into his controlling aspect.
Those are all just good value cards, right? Like
exactly.
Maybe not Sacred Cat, but
no, but as a 1-drop,
sure. As a 1-drop, it's a solid one.
To round out your mana and to just kind of have a play.
Sure,
it's not bad. Talk Crop Skirmisher, obviously, again, not a Flyer, not great, but Embalm for 4 just to have a body isn't bad.
Absolutely.
I think that to stay on color, and he knew that he was kind of playing other aggro decks. To have a 2/1 you can get twice isn't terrible. But he did a lot of his work with Drakehaven, which is a super cool card that I actually forgot was in this set, but it was kind of a hidden value. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, you may pay 1 colorless. If you do, create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. It's an enchantment for 3. It's Drakehaven. It was great, and it really did work for him. Really, he got to put cheap guys on his board, make some Drakes, and swing over and win a lot of games. He was the top two decks. So he valued guys that had longevity, a lot of Embalm guys that could stay on the field. Vigilance was a big thing for him. Unwavering Initiate made its way into his deck. It's obviously got Vigilance and Embalm. We've played with it a few times on stream and just in testing this. And then Avon Wind Guide is really cool. It says creature tokens you control have flying and vigilance, which is great. I mean, obviously his things have flying already, but this just makes creature tokens way better. And anything he would embalm,
Well, it makes the swing back a lot easier as well, giving everything vigilance, especially in that case, because you can swing in and not really have to worry about, do I have blockers or anything like that, because you're gonna have them, right? You don't have to tap them.
Yeah. They were solid. And Angler Drake, a card that I love in Limited. It is a 4/4 for 6, 4 colorless, 2 blue with flying. It says when it enters the battlefield, you can return a target creature to its owner's hand, which is sweet. He doesn't have a ton of when things enter the battlefield effects, except for Vizier of Deferment, which isn't a big deal. He's never going to be bouncing his own guys. He's really just pinging threats off of his opponent's board and swinging in with flyers. Overall, this is a really solid deck to draft. Something that, if you want to look for just a solid, consistent deck, blue, white Flyers, and that is kind of a Limited staple, right? It's just, so much better, I think, in this set because of things like Drakehaven and Wind Guide. Though, sadly, Did not win. Baranecki just played exceptional games, just time and time again. But he also did kind of get the luck of the cards. He might have been blessed by Bontu. Who knows? Speaking of Bontu, he runs 3 bomb rares. I'm gonna guess he opened these. I didn't see him draft.
I can't imagine passing them.
Yeah, I don't. He had to have opened Liliana, which he played. He probably opened Neheb, which he played. Little Jelly.
He opened Neheb, that card you can't get.
You know, Kevin.
I mean, what?
I'm trying to run a segment here. So.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just felt that needed to be said.
Did it?
Yeah. I think so.
As I was saying, also had Bontu. Bontu did absolute work for this guy. It's something we've talked about, that the gods are limited bombs. Probably not as good in constructed, but they will probably make their way into constructed decks.
I definitely think so.
Yeah, for aggro decks, I think Bontu and the Red God are probably going to see some play.
Yeah, probably.
You know, the Red God, if you discard things, it deals 3 damage to creature or opponent, which is, you know, solid. So let's talk about his deck for a second. I really love the synergy between Bontu and Doom Dissenter. He was able to pull 3 Doom Dissenters, which 1 colorless, 1 black. When it dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, which is sweet.
Yeah.
Because Bontu makes you sat guys. Each opponent will lose a life, and you gain a life, and then it gets to attack. Cool. It's also got Menace for a 4/6, which is just nasty.
Yeah.
And Doom Dissenter being a strict upgrade can either be a chump blocker or just get turned on by Bontu.
Yep.
Sweet. Festering Mummy was another great like fuel for Bontu. Horror of the Broken Lands worked really well in his deck as well. It's a 4/4/5 for 1 black cycling. Whenever you cycle or discard another card, Horror gets +2/+1 until end of turn. You can do it multiple times, and he ran a bunch of cyclers. You've got where to go. Desert Ceradon, which was great. He used, trying to find some other ones. Maybe not a bunch. I spoke too soon, but he ran Unburden. He ran. No, that's it. Excuse me. But it was a fantastic card. It's a limited bomb. Grab it if you'd like. It is kind of broken. Like to turn into a 6/5 and 8/6, potentially for as little as 2 mana, is pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was exceptional. He really did damage to Eli with Bontu. He dropped Bontu very, very quickly. Fortunate for him, and started sacking Doom Dissenters, and that just turned the whole game in his favor. Eli really just couldn't kind of come back from that in game 1. And in game 2, it was another slugfest that came down, like we said, to our favorite card, my favorite card, I don't know about him, in this set, Fling. It's just solid.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
He won a few games, Baranecki did, with Insult and Injury. The casters at the match pointed out that Insult and Injury is kind of almost just an unfair card.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this too at one point. Fling and Insult to Injury are both cards where you can sort of win out of nowhere, and there's a lot of those in this set.
This is actually how he won match 1. I just remembered with Insult and Injury. It got down to like turn 8, turn 9, something like that, so he could cast them both. Insulted first, obviously damage can't be prevented, and then instantly casted Injury, dealing 2 damage to Eli's face, and then swung out with everything.
Well, and if since he played Insult first,
right, it was 4
doubled,
damage,
so
really.
it even got to 4, which is pretty amazing.
But yeah, it was nasty. It was smooth though. This guy played really flawless Magic almost. You could say. He did lose some, but not that many. He used Supernatural Stamina with Doom Dissenter kind of to fill his board as well. Supernatural Stamina is a cool combat trick. It says, until end of turn, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. So you bring a Dissenter to a 3/1. It is still going to die and get you that 2/2 zombie. It will probably trade with something at 3.
Right.
And then come right back as a 1/1 that could get you another 2/2 zombie.
So the synergy in this deck is just fantastic.
It's very, very powerful. It is just kind of right there for black. Honestly, he could have gone like mostly black, splashing red for things like Fling, Insult, Neheb if he wanted to. Neheb just worked a lot with his Minotaurs as well. That might have been I'm going to guess it was probably an early pack. You see a lot of Minotaurs in here, like Curse Minotaur, Minotaur Sure Shot, Ember Horn, things like that we've noted are pretty good and limited as well. Overall, it was a really cool weekend, some really exciting Magic, and that's really what I love about limited matches and tournaments. You get Magic that is metagamed to a point, but it is all dictated by the packs you open right there, you know?
I think that's the best part about just limited in general is you really never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And it's always fun to sort of see what you can build and try different things, which is what we tried to do on the stream for sure. And what we definitely recommend trying because honestly, you find those synergies by just doing it, right? Like, you can be told all day that this deck is good, but until you draft it, until you play it, you're really not going to understand. Yeah. Right. So definitely recommend going out and drafting a bit.
Please do. It's a great exercise. And a lot of LGSs will run them for pretty cheap drafts, that is.
Yeah,
so absolutely. You can go, I know that one store near us does it for $15 whenever they do it.
Which isn't bad at all.
Yeah, you keep all the cards you get. If you win, you get more packs. Like, it's pretty cheap. It's a fun time. It's a great way to spend a Friday night with some friends. So,
sure.
Yeah. All right,
very cool. Well, thank you for that.
My
giving
pleasure.
us a heads up on the tournaments. I like it. Always cool to hear about limited. So as we stated in the intro, we also bought we also got the 2 intro decks from Amonkhet, Gideon and Liliana.
We did.
As you may know, if you don't, these are 2 specific to the intro deck planeswalkers. They are not printed. You will not get them out of a booster pack.
You don't want
Excuse me. And yeah, you don't want them. They're underpowered. The goal is to sort of simplify it and just make it sort of a fun format. So it was fun. We thought we'd see how well they balanced out and just see if we liked them. I ended up playing the Liliana deck.
Yes.
And you played the Gideon deck.
Yes.
But before we get into that, you do get 2 packs in each of the intro decks. And so what we thought we would do is very quickly open them up and talk about the rares that we get.
Just because we have them.
Why not? So my first rare out of the 2 packs is Dispossess. It is 2 and a black for a sorcery. Choose an artifact card name. Search opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of the cards with the chosen name and exile them. Then that player shuffles his or her library. I actually really like this card. It's a little expensive for 3 basically, where it would probably be used, but the ability is powerful, and in a format maybe where this is a little bit more viable, where artifacts are really a big deal. I could see this getting some play, maybe. As maybe sideboard tech or something like that.
It might sneak in. Yeah.
What's your first rare?
It is Sandworm Convergence.
Oh, very cool.
Super fun. Creatures with flying can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of your end step, create a 5/5 worm creature token. Limited bomb.
Limited bomb for sure.
If you can, I guess if you can ramp this out, it would be solid, but there's enough enchantment hate that really, if someone has sideboarded for that, sayonara.
Really not constructed viable, I would say.
It's not at its strongest there. No. It's still fun. It's really fun. Create a worm for free at your end step.
Seems great.
To protect yourself from flyers.
Sure.
That's why it's really good and limited, by the way. Where a lot of people will draft flyers and should. Just on the record. Yes, it is solid. I like it.
Very cool. Well, my second rare is actually one that you just talked about, which is Drakehaven.
Okay.
Just to recap, it's 2 and a blue for an enchantment, and whenever you cycle or you discard a card, you can pay 1 and create a 2/2 flying Drake.
I can see this working in some constructed decks.
I could see it, and maybe a cycler deck or something like that. Yeah. Sure, where it's sort of the focus of the deck, but overall, pretty cool card.
Yeah.
Obviously, limited bomb. It got 2nd place, so
yeah. Second rare, Pyramid of the Pantheon.
Ooh.
I think we've opened this one too. I might be wrong though. It is the pay 2, tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, put a brick counter on Pyramid of the Pantheon, then tap, Add 3 mana of any one color to your mana pool. Activate this ability only if there are 3 or more brick counters on Pyramid of the Pantheon. So,
what you think about that, Will?
The only constructed decks you could probably play this in Standard are blue-green ramp.
Yeah.
I don't think it is great once it gifts those 3 counters.
Yeah.
Right? But once it does, or until it does, for 3 turns, you're paying 2.
It's just sort of using up your... It's just not efficient.
Yeah,
it's what it amounts
really
to.
not. So unless you can kind of just do it for free almost and do it like the end of your turn, I don't know. It
doesn't seem too good, right?
No, I'm not crazy about it.
We did open this in Limited on stream, and
oh, that's right.
We thought we'd try it just to see how it would go in Limited, and it was just not good. It was a dead card 90% of the time. I mean, it was just quite bad. So
yeah, I regret that very much. Yeah, don't play this in Limited.
No,
it's far too slow in that format.
No, yeah, definitely not worth it. But cool. So some interesting packs. So with that, we did want to talk about just a little bit about our game. Basically, what we did was, again, Will played Gideon, which is the white-red deck.
Yep.
Definitely an aggro deck, although the cost was a little high.
Yeah, that's what I'll say about it.
Yeah, so maybe not the best aggro deck, but I played Liliana, which was the black-green deck, which, if you don't know in this format, is sort of the -1/-1 counter deck is really what it goes for. So you get to place counters maybe on your stuff and then throw them over to the other side, or just directly place them on the other side. So a very cool deck. I mean, it's an intro deck, so before we put anything into... you need to put it into perspective a little bit and say it is an intro deck.
Correct.
It's not meant to be a powerful, crazy deck.
No. And really, they're not.
No, they're not. I will say, honestly, they seem pretty well balanced. And when I say that, I mean, when we got into our games, when it got to the late game, it was fairly close each time. They were pretty quick games, but... yeah. I know at one point we were both at 1 life.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, so all I'll say about them really is they do the bare minimum of what their colors and their effects dictate in the set, right? So what I mean, like, Gideon's deck is an aggro deck technically. Right, but it is very slow. Yeah. There are no 1-drops. There are like a few 2-drops. Most of your creatures are 3. Yeah. Which, in an aggro deck,
just doesn't seem right.
Is not good.
I will say, in my deck, I had a lot of 2-drops, and I'm not the aggro deck.
No.
It felt a little odd.
Yeah. There was some synergy in Gideon's deck. You have a lot of things that make guys on tap. There are cards in these intro decks that are not in the regular Amonkhet set. Correct. And one of those, Companion of the Trials, you can pay 2 and untap a card you control. You can only do it if Gideon's on the field, though, which makes that way worse. It's a 2/2 flyer for 3. And it's just... yeah. It felt like it was trying to have interactions, but at the cost of like having aggression.
Yeah, I mean? And I will say the comparative card in my deck for the sort of Gideon only card is I had a 3/2 Naga for 3 that I could then pay 3 to drain you for 2, and I would gain 2 life. But I didn't ever get to use that ability because you had to have Liliana out. And there's only one Liliana in the deck, obviously. Right, and
only one Gideon.
Gideon.
You get 2 spells that will fetch
you do. There's a few things that you can fetch it out with, which is fine.
Those are
expensive. By the time you cast those, hopefully you've already won the game, really is what it amounts to, because they're so expensive. And,
they are.
I will say, though, as far as putting it on the line of a just intro deck, it was a very simple interaction.
Yeah,
it was
nothing
fun.
Too confusing.
And the games were somewhat interesting. I mean, for an intro deck, it was fine. It felt a little odd. I didn't have too many mana issues, but I know you did.
I did, yeah. With having a lot of 3-drops, sometimes I'll pull a hand of only 3-drops. Yeah. And 2 mana, which, if you know your deck well, and I'm running a lot of 2s, and these 3s are really efficient, cost effective. Nah, it's stuff like Hyena Pack at 4. on crop, which is great. A haster 3/2 that taps something down. Well, no, he'll just make him unblockable.
Makes it so
basically.
he can't block.
But like, he dies so easy that he's not worth 3 mana on turn 3. He's great at like a turn 6 or 5 if I can like get him in there for extra, like an extra threat. But on turn 3, you don't love him in constructed. So it, I really didn't trust the mana of the deck to hold up to what I was looking at, because I'm not using the mana effectively. I'm not really respecting the curve. Is what I'm trying to say. It's just an underwhelming deck.
Yeah, a little bit. I will say 2 all-stars that I would say in the deck that I ran.
Sure.
Again, the Liliana deck. One, the green cartouche, as we've talked about, is just great.
It is solid.
It removes something, it pumps your guy, gets in for damage. It's a great card.
It's fantastic.
I believe there were 2 of them in that deck, if I'm not mistaken. And I got to play one, and it was just great. I will say I got to play it on my favorite card of the deck.
Oh, jeez. Really? That's your favorite of the deck?
It was the funniest, which I like.
Yes, that's true.
Which is, I believe it's Dune Beetle.
Yep, Dune Beetle.
A 1/4 for 1 and a black.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But when you play a cartouche on it, normally, because again, things like the Minotaur, which is a 3/2 and things like that, you get to fight it and kill it. Your toughness on the Dune Beetle is 5 at that point, so you will survive any attack. And on top of that, you get yourself out of range of things like Cartouche of Zeal, which you were already out of range of anyway. But you also get out of range of things like Electrify. You can you can block pretty effectively with most things. Unless they have flying, and so I actually really liked that card. Surprisingly,
it worked.
That was
really
kind of
well.
my favorite card. That I will say, Decimator Beetle, which
that was
is not a huge surprise, but it was a great card also.
No, that's a great uncommon in this set.
It is,
I think will make its way into the green-black constructed decks. How much does it cost?
It is 5, I believe, in total.
That's a little hefty.
It is a little hefty for a 4/5, but you do get to sort of tag things down occasionally and things like that.
It might be worth it though, honestly.
It might be. You can get some advantage on your attacks, which I really like.
You can start using those 1/1 counters as removal, and
absolutely
that kind of works.
So it is a very cool card. The games were fun. Should we say who won?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I won.
Yes, I won the first match. Then he won the last 2.
Yes, which is pretty par for the course. I tend to lose game 1 a lot.
Okay.
And you lose everything else.
Who won?
Shots fired.
When did we play last time? Who won that last game? I can't remember. Who won it? Did you get 2-0'd? Did you get 2-0 last game? I just want to know.
I believe so, honestly.
It was part of the course.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, what I meant by that was I tend to lose game 1 most of the time. I wasn't.
That's true.
I think it is. Anyway, we had a lot of fun. It was just fun. It was just a few fun matches. We thought we'd try out the intro decks. We never hear much about the intro decks, and honestly, we all know why, right? Like they're not great, but I think it's fun for new players to try that. It's a very cost efficient way to sort of get into the game. So it's worth a shot. If you are new to Magic, maybe give it a shot.
And if you're not new to Magic, you're trying to bring someone else in,
it's not a bad way to do that.
It's pretty good. And you get to say, hey, here's these packs at the end. I'd probably, if I was trying to get someone in, just give them all my packs. There you go.
Why not?
Have fun.
And I will say too, and this might just be a me thing, I don't know, but I've got a fairly large collection of cards. I've got cards that go back. I've got very powerful cards, but something about playing with just an intro deck that is already pre-built, you just sort of go through, you don't even look at it ahead of time, you just sort of shuffle it up and play a game, tends to be pretty fun. So
where you don't have to like make a deck.
Right. I think that's actually a really fun way to go. So I would absolutely recommend it, just if you have an extra $15 or something, but also just for new people.
If you've been playing for 10 years, you probably would not like it.
No. But all right, last segment of the day.
You know what it is.
The crack a pack with our goal cards. Still looking for our goal cards. I found my first one, but that's it. So
I'm starting to think the Heb's never gonna be found. And we checked the card art. It's definitely a guy.
Yeah, That is a thing.
Well, you know, I've never seen a Minotaur in real life. I don't know if I want to gender it just by its look.
I have.
All right, Kevin's the Minotaur expert, I guess.
It was scarring is the word I would use.
He dated a Minotaur in high school. And
I did.
It did not go well.
It didn't. The breakup was very tough. It took it a long time to get over it.
Okay.
I'm trying to use non-gender pronouns right now. All right, no, but so we do have our goals.
Yeah.
I'll go first this time.
Please do.
My goal is Aven Mind Sensor.
Yes.
As we stated last time, a great reprint.
Yeah.
Mainly for modern, some legacy play, stuff like that. But unfortunately,
Talk to me, Kevin.
about par for the course.
Nah.
I have not reached my goal, but I did pull a very good card, I think. Champion of Ronas.
Yes, I think we were both talking about this.
I love this card. It is 3 and a green for a 3/3, and you can exert it when it attacks and put a creature card from your hand on the battlefield. Which, if anybody's ever heard of Tooth and Nail, it's kind of like Tooth and Nail on a stick.
It absolutely is.
Tooth and Nail is obviously a little bit better because you can sort of tutor out your creatures and get them into your hand first with Entwine, but I actually really like this card. I think it's great.
Yes.
I don't know how well it will do in constructed play, but I do think it's a good way to ramp out some strong stuff.
I think it's going to be great in Standard. I do not suspect it's going to be very good outside of Standard.
I can see that.
It dies to bolt. It's the 3/3.
That's true. Yeah.
If you are playing someone with green, and if you in a tournament you get access to deck lists, so you happen to know, all right, they got some big guys.
Yep.
And then you see him put down champion, you're like, well, that's gotta go.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's gonna be great outside of Standard.
I don't think so either, but it is a cool card.
Yeah, it is.
Nevertheless, so
Absolutely.
all right, Will. The search for Neheb
shall continue. Although fantastic card.
Yeah.
Insult to injury. You know, we've talked about it. We talked about it this show. In fact, and I mean, what more can we say? It's fantastic. If you've got 6 open mana, you could end up winning.
Yeah.
With this card.
Out of nowhere.
Especially in limited, maybe Standard construction.
I could see it do some construction working.
Builder.
No, I could see it doing some work in constructed. It's definitely a bomb in limited, no doubt. But I do think there's probably a place for this in Standard.
Yeah, honestly, I would want it just for insult.
Yeah, insult seems pretty awesome.
It's fantastic. You use this with the mythic 3/1 guy that adds you another combat step if you exert him.
And you just do
holy crap
an unlimited amount of damage at that point.
That's insane. Rakdos aggro, I think, is gonna make a big splash.
Yeah. Pretty cool cards.
Yeah, I love it. That's a great card.
Yeah. So
cool.
We will continue our search for our goal cards. Aven Mind Sensor and Neheb. We will get them eventually.
I'm starting to get mad at Neheb. Maybe it is unworthy.
Well, with that, I think that we will get up out of here. This has been the 7th episode.
Wow, really?
Yeah, this is number 7.
We're on 7.
This has been fun. I'm really enjoying this. We will be continuing this. There's no doubt. So.
Well, no. Yeah, we haven't even made it to 10.
We haven't even made it to 10.
I might retire at 10.
No, we enjoy it.
Yeah, it's great.
We hope you guys do too. We will be back again for a next episode in Sunday.
Yeah.
Is the next day? I believe so. So stay tuned. Check it out then. That'll be sort of our fun episode. I think we'll just be
feel a fun day.
Picking out a topic. No spoilers yet. So
absolutely not.
But with that, we will check out later. I'm Kevin.
I'm Will.
And this has been It Resolves.
Go play some Magic.